Hello. Thank you all for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time to learn more about ARC's new partnership with Uplift and how it can benefit you and your customers. I'm Alex Kyle. I'm the product manager for ARC Pay, which is ARC's credit card processing application for our travel professionals. For those of you who are unaware, the ARC Pay product allows ARC accredited agents to process their customers' credit cards for all sorts of travel-related charges, from basic service fees all the way up to consolidator tickets and custom-built vacations. We're very excited about this partnership with Uplift, which will allow you to offer your customers buy now, pay later options on their vacations and travel arrangements, and to process the entire transaction through ARC Pay. There will be Uplift contact information presented later in the webinar, but you can always reach out to the ARC Pay team at arcpay@arccorp.com. If you have any questions, again, that's arcpay@arccorp.com. So we're also easy to find on the ARC corporate website. And with that, I will turn it over to our colleagues at Uplift.
Thanks so much, Alex. My name is Stephen Ganellis. I am the account manager here at Uplift for the ARC Pay product. And I'm going to be walking you through a little bit about how the Uplift and ARC integration works. And with me today, I have my colleague, Tanya Johnson, and she is definitely here to help out answer any of those great questions that you guys have and be able to support me while I'm talking throughout the chat. So throughout this presentation today, any questions that you do have, any comments, please put it into the Q&A or into the chat, and we will do our best to make sure that those get answered. And to go ahead and get started with today, I actually do have just a quick poll that I wanted to send out to everyone, which, I just wanted to gather some information from all of you to see how familiar you actually are with Uplift and what we do here. So if you can go ahead and answer that. And it looks like the poll is pretty well filled out now. The results are, how familiar are you with Uplift? A good portion are not familiar with Uplift at all. A fair number of you as well are a little bit familiar. Don't have anyone on the call that are completely familiar with us. But, I hope that by the end of today, we are able to go ahead and make sure that everyone becomes very familiar with the Uplift product and how it relates to what you guys do with ARC. So to go ahead and get started, I do have a little bit of an agenda today. We're going to start off by talking a little bit about buy now, pay later, why it matters, a little bit about Uplift as well. Then we're going to cover some basics around how the Uplift tool actually works. And how you'll take what you're doing in the Uplift tool back into ARC Pay, whether it be via the ARC Pay Hub or via your GDS. We'll go into a little bit around leveraging Uplift during that sales conversation. What's the best ways to bring it up to your customers as you're going through things. And then finally, we'll go through some getting started and support at the very end. So to go ahead and kick us off, I do want to talk a little bit about buy now, pay later. If you don't know much about buy now, pay later, it is exploding. Over 55% of consumers have actually used a buy now, pay later service. Other buy now, pay later services can include things like Affirm, things like that, anything where you can spread the cost of your purchase over a monthly amount. Their biggest usage is between the ages of 25 and 54 years old. That actually grew, that segment itself grew by more than 20% over the past year. And, between 2021 and 2024, there's actually a 192% forecasted growth for the entire buy now, pay later market. This is definitely something that your colleagues or your customers want, that they're looking for, and is only going to keep growing into the future. So a little bit about us. We're on a mission to help people get more out of life, one thoughtful purchase at a time. And we do that really through three different methods. Our first, we offer simple payment plans. Everything is clear, it's transparent, it's flexible. Your customer sees their offer, they understand exactly how much they're going to be paying based on that total purchase amount that has been put into our system. We have dedicated resources for you guys as the agent. We make sure that we have learning portals, we have marketing materials. We're consistently sending out emails to make sure that you guys have everything that you need to be as successful as possible. And we're surprise free. There's no late fees, there's no early prepayment penalties, there's no hidden penalties. It's just a new way for your customers to pay. Let's talk about why everyone wins with Uplift Pay Monthly. So for your customer, they're going to get that low fixed monthly payment. We offer them upfront trip financing. So, everything that they want to include in that total purchase amount can be included. It can be the air, it can be include their travel insurance, any additional hotels, really that total purchase amount that you put into our tool that I'll show you in just a few minutes is going to be a part of all of that. We also offer flexibility along the way. If your customer does end up going off of their plan, we work with them to get them back on track and have flexibility to be able to let them move their payment dates as necessary for them. We're also budgeting made easy. So because you can include that every piece into that total trip cost, it makes it easier to get that total amount that a customer is going to pay per month instead of having one piece here, one piece there. As far as benefits for you, the agent, we offer that fast and instant decision for your customer. There's no waiting. There's no, hey, 7 days from now, your customer will find out if they're able to be approved. It's instant. We do have a 7-day-a-week all-star customer service. We handle all of your customers' future payments. You're not chasing them for final payment. You're not chasing them for anything else. And that booking that you make is going to be paid in full immediately. Let's talk a little bit about the Uplift tool itself and some of the basics that come along with that. We do have a few basics around who and when. So as far as who can apply for an Uplift loan, it can be any member of the traveling group. Additionally, we actually made some enhancements recently that allow a third party to apply. So let's say that grandma wants to pay for everyone's vacation, but she's not going to be there. There's not a problem. We actually have a system in our tool that you just indicate whether there's going to be a third party person paying, and we collect the traveler information. As far as eligibility goes, they do need to be 18 years old, does need to be a resident of the country, and have a debit card and a mobile device. As I walk through the process, you'll see a little bit about what that looks like and why you will need to have that debit card and that mobile device. Unfortunately, Uplift is not available for any residents based in Iowa and in West Virginia. Those are local state laws that unfortunately we're unable to lend to people in those states. As far as the booking windows go, you can actually use Uplift for someone's trip up to 11 days before departure. So, if they wanted to go on that trip tomorrow and start paying Uplift, unfortunately, we can't do that. It does need to be 11 days from now. So, you'd be looking at Christmas Day at this point if you were to fill out a new application today. And as far as availability, Uplift is available really at any time. So if you have a customer that's put down a down payment and they're at a final payment, and all of a sudden they don't have the funds to be able to pay a final payment, you can use Uplift at that time, even though they've already put down some form of down payment on their purchase. So, don't forget that you can definitely use us, whether it be initial payment, during a deposit, or for final payment. The basics of how, our minimum is going to be $150. Our maximum on each loan is going to be $15,000. There is no maximum number of loans a customer can have. They do definitely need to be approved for each one of their loans. So if they can be approved for more than $15,000, they can have multiple loans going. As far as how long the term lengths are, your customer gets that ability to choose their term length. Each of those term lengths range anywhere between 3 to 24 months. There is no guarantee that your customer is going to see exactly a 3-month term or exactly a 24-month term. Those are options that do exist in our ecosystem, but we look at a handful of different credit profile risks and features as we're determining what term lengths and other factors to look at as we do approve them. Like I did mention, options are not guaranteed, and customers can only choose that term length at that time of approval. So, if a customer does choose a 6-month term, month 2, they say, oh, I was offered 11, I need 11 now. Unfortunately, you're locked into that 6-month term at the time that they have selected it. We can't go ahead and modify it after the fact. As far as how your customers pay us back, your customers, we only accept debit. In all situations, we do not accept credit cards and prepaid cards. So, if you have any customers that are trying to use a prepaid debit card, unfortunately, we cannot accept any prepaid debit cards. As far as currency goes, this is only for the US. Everything in the US happens in US dollars. Let's quickly look at some of the steps for actually using the agent tool. And, we like to say that everything here happens in about 3 steps. And the first part of those steps are going to be working on the actual planning portion of the trip and sending them the application. Our second portion is going to be related to what happens with the virtual card that gets generated. And then the third step is essentially your customer for the future, continuing to move through that process. So in that first step, you're going to plan that purchase with your customer. The uplift process really only happens after you've determined a total price with that customer. So once you've done all the planning for their big trip, you're going to go ahead and move into the second phase, which is you're going to confirm their eligibility and make sure they're at least 18 years old, make sure they have a mobile phone, make sure they have a debit card available. After you've confirmed all that, you're going to fill out the application, which is located at our agent.uplift.com. And you're going to go ahead and send them that Uplift application from that portal. This is now the step that moves back onto your client. Your client's going to go through all of the processes of getting approved. And if they are approved, you will then receive notice of approval directly from your agent portal. All of this actually will happen directly in real time. It's not something you send to the client and have them come back and finish later. Everything happens in that exact moment with the customer. So, after you've received notice of the approval, you are then issued a UATP card from us. This is where, if you've done anything with Uplift before, this is where things get a little bit different from our other steps. But, you're actually going to confirm your customer's travel, which should be steps that you're rather used to today. You'll need to confirm that travel for that customer using your personal or company card. And then you're going to take that Uplift UATP card that was issued, and you're going to run it through ArcPay to get reimbursed, and it'll go onto your weekly settlement through UATP. From there, the borrower is just going to continue making their monthly payments onto the Uplift plan that they have, and that's really how simple the entire Uplift process actually is. As far as the UATP card process looks like within ArcPay, I did just want to go a little bit further into detail on that. So, you're going to take that UATP card and process it through ArcPay. You can do that via your GDS or via ArcPay Hub. And if you don't have access to ArcPay Hub, I believe Alex was mentioning earlier, we can definitely get you all set up for that as long as you send that email in. So after you confirm the travel via your personal corporate card, you're going to take that UATP issued card and you're going to process that through the default steps that you already have through ArcPay transactions. And if you're using already through GDS, you can continue doing that. If you're using through ArcPay Hub, you can continue doing that through ArcPay Hub. This is another screenshot from ArcPay Hub as far as the information that you do put in there. And the card type, you'll just indicate the UATP and enter that card number in here, along with all the other information that's provided to you. So, after authorization, transactions created, added to the IAR report, that payment's included in that week's settlement. And, those funds that you receive essentially reimburse you for the purchase that you've already made for that customer's travel. So if you do have any questions on that process, do definitely let us know. Do want to cover some special scenarios, and then I'm actually going to walk you through an application itself through our agent tool. So, as far as refunds and booking changes, if there is a refund or if there's anything that's eligible for a refund, make sure that you refund that amount directly to that Uplift UATP card, and we credit the customer's balance. So any refunds need to go, because the travel is being confirmed on your corporate or personal cards, you do need to make sure that you've refunded that UATP card. That way we can reduce the customer's balance. If it's not eligible for a refund, you're going to go ahead and follow your existing standing refund procedure. So if it's not eligible, it's not eligible. If it's eligible, just follow that standard procedure that you already have. As far as booking changes go, obviously, working in air, things change by the minute. If that price does go down before you're able to confirm that travel, make sure that you've only entered that exact amount for the UATP card into ArcPay onto that amount to get refunded. We'll go ahead and reduce any unused funds off of the customer's balance at that point. If the price does increase before purchase, unfortunately, that customer's already confirmed their loan. They have those loan documents saying exactly the amount that they're willing to pay or going to pay. So, anything additional on top of that, you guys collect funds directly from them, or they can take out a second Uplift loan if it meets our minimum amounts. When Uplift is unavailable, this is the screen that you will see on the left-hand side here. This is your agent screen. Just lets you know that, unfortunately, Uplift is unavailable. If you do run into this situation, you can change that borrower. So someone else who's traveling on the reservation or someone who's not traveling on the reservation can go ahead and apply and see if they're able to be approved. As far as the customer screen, this is what it looks like on their end, just letting them know that they could not complete this purchase with Uplift. Borrowers additionally can log in immediately at pay.uplift.com to see the additional reasons why we were unable to approve them at this time. So let's go ahead and run into a demo real quick. And you guys still see my screen okay?
Yeah, all good.
Perfect. So this is actually the ArcPay Uplift application. You'll know that you're in ArcPay because you can see this ArcPay logo up here on the top, as well as the Uplift logo. The very first step, what we already discussed and talked about, you're going to make sure that you have selected the items that are a part of that customer's trip, and you've already determined what that total amount to be financed is. So let's say that this person wants a $1,500 loan. You can go ahead and see, based on $1,500, we have a pay today amount of $133.71 plus 11 remaining monthly payments of $133.71. This is calculated based on a sample APR, so it may not be the exact rate that your customer does receive. It does fluctuate higher and it does fluctuate lower than that. This is just to give them an idea. And the customer will actually see their actual rate once they've gone through the process of applying. Uplift only uses a soft check, so there is no hard inquiry onto their account. It takes a few seconds for them to check their rate and see what they do qualify for. And with no impact, there's no reason for them not to at least just take a look at it. On the right-hand side of the screen here, we do have helpful tips. If you forget how the application works, you can click this button here. It'll open up into a video, which actually leads to our learning portal. Just how to actually use that agent tool and what that entire process looks like. And I'll walk you guys through the learning portal at the end of this as well. We additionally hold a handful of helpful tips here on the right-hand side. If you are curious on some of the value props, ways to talk about the product to your customer, you can let them know that we're clear and transparent, personalized offer, best pay over time plans that work for them, no late fees, early prepayment penalties, all the good stuff. It's all outlined for you here on the right-hand side of the screen. You can see that we do have that 11-day booking window. So, it automatically defaults to the 25th here. You do need to provide some form of trip dates as you are going through this process. If your customer is only doing a one-way trip, you can go ahead and tick that box for the one-way trip. We'll go ahead and assume that our customer is going to be traveling next month, just for a couple of days. And let's assume that there are 2 people that are going to be traveling. You do need to indicate the number of travelers as well. We will have our customer, Mr. Arthur Davis, as our example uplifter today. You can see this question here around, is the borrower traveling on the reservation? This is related to that third-party loan. So if Arthur was not traveling on the reservation, but he was going to be the one who is paying, you'll go ahead and click no, and you'll enter in that traveler information. For any travelers, when there is a third-party loan, we do need their first name, last name, and date of birth. Luckily, Arthur is going to be traveling on the reservation today, so we can go ahead and say yes to that question. You can see here that Arthur can receive this offer via email or via SMS. We'll go ahead and send it via email to him today. On the bottom of the screen here, you can see what looks like a bit of a tracker. If you've ever ordered Domino's pizza, looks pretty similar to that. So we'll go ahead and click that send application button here and get started on that application for our customer, Mr. Davis. You can see that we've moved from that send application to that application in progress. We do have little helpful tips here. Just a reminder, this process all happens at once. So you're not going to want to leave this screen. If you try and leave this screen, you're going to terminate the session for both you and the client. Everything does happen all at once. So we'll go ahead and you can see you're waiting for the client to open the link that was sent to them. In just a second here, we should be able to jump to this application form. You'll see that the client is now filling out their application. If you do need to edit anything, you can click this edit button. It is going to end that current session for the customer, and you do send them a new session as you have clicked the edit button. Just on that screen before, if they also are having trouble receiving the links in any way, shape, or form, they can go ahead and resend them via SMS or via email to them. On the right-hand side of the screen here, you can see that pay today amount that was already talked about just one step before. This information is also included on the customer's screen. So this is what your customer is going to see as they are going through that process. It covers who the applicant is. It covers the trip dates, that total amount, and the estimated monthly payment, which you saw on your end, they see directly on their end as well. As far as information that the customer needs to fill out in order to get to that next process, they're going to need to put in their home information, their date of birth, their household income, and the last 4 of their social. They'll go ahead and click that Let's Get Started button. And this is where every customer does need to have that mobile phone. We are going to send a mobile verification to their phone, regardless as to whether they've received the application via email or via SMS. We'll go ahead and click that verify to move on to the next step. And just like that, our customer was able to be approved. So this is what the screen looks like for the customer as they're getting approved. Back on your screen, you'll see that we've updated again. We've made it to that application decision. Now, if your client was unable to be approved, this is where that step would end, and it would give you that option to change the borrower. As our client was approved here, you can see that they've been pre-approved and have their personalized offer. If they want to continue, they just need to input their billing information for us to continue with the process the entire way. And then they'll go ahead and back on their screen, we can see here they're approved for 3 different offers, one a 3-month, one a 6-month, and one a 9-month. For the customer to continue, we'll put in their very real credit card number. And they do need to enter their full social security number at this point. We do have auto pay enabled to yes. Customers can turn off auto pay if they would like. Obviously, we don't encourage that, but we do reach out to customers, whether they do or don't have auto pay enabled, reminding them that they do have payments coming up and do need to log into their customer portal to make those payments or remind them that an automatic pull is about to happen. After the customer clicks continue, the customer is going to get their actual truth in lending documentation. In this truth in lending documentation, it covers their APR, their finance charges, the amount financed for the entire loan, and their total of all payments. As you can see, go ahead and just click the I agree and continue. On the bottom here, I do want to just make sure that you guys do see there is no hard inquiry here. So we'll go ahead and move forward on this side. On the agent screen, there actually is a step here letting you know that there is a client decision and they are reviewing their loan. So after they click that I agree and continue, and this is the step where you are provided the UATP card. So this is when you would take that Uplift created UATP card, which is going to start in that 1871. And you're going to go ahead and process that directly into the ArcPay system to be able to get reimbursed up to the amount that was requested. So we'll go ahead and enter that credit card number, that confirmation number. We do require a confirmation number. So, go ahead and confirm all the travel, get those confirmations, take this card and go through ArcPay or through your GDS before finally clicking that complete Uplift booking. At this point, you don't need to have your customer on the phone once you get to this screen. They are all set, but you do need to go ahead and confirm their travel and then go into ArcPay. After you leave this screen, you will not have access to that virtual card anymore following this. So we'll go ahead and click that complete Uplift booking, and you can see that the entire process is complete. And you can start a new application if you would like by just clicking that new application button. So let me stop there, see if we have any questions, Tanya, that we need to answer about the process itself before we move into a little bit more about the sales process and some useful tips in getting your customer to go through.
We do have one question in the chat here, Stephen, which I will pose. It says, many times you have to refund the original form of payment to the original card. How does this work?
Yeah, so Alex, hopefully you can shed a little more light on this, but any refunds into ArcPay should be relatively easy, right?
Correct. I believe there would be 2 refunds going on here. You would be receiving a refund, a credit from the supplier, say the hotel in Italy or the airline, and that would be coming back to whatever form of payment you used with, say, that hotel. Then you would reimburse your customer by way of refunding the UATP card, and by pushing that refund through ArcPay back to the UATP card, Uplift would then credit the borrower's balance with Uplift.
That will initiate a refund on our end. Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Perfect.
But
yeah,
I can put that into writing in here. I think I said a lot there, but I'll do that here.
Yes. Sorry, I wanted to pull you in there on that one, Alex, because there's certain elements that are exclusive to ARC and UATP.
Yeah, and that card can get refunded multiple times. Just don't refund more than the value of the card itself.
I believe we have someone with a raised hand. I would ask if you could maybe drop the question in the Q&A, and that would be a little bit easier, perhaps.
And remember, we are here answering questions as well. So any questions you do have, please throw them into the chat, and Tanya will do her best to get to them. Yeah. But let's go ahead and continue on to leveraging Uplift a little bit into that sales conversation. I don't want you to forget about harnessing the power of that payment calculator. The payment calculator is a hugely invaluable tool that, you can enter an amount to be financed and get a pay today amount directly for that customer. So, if you're going to try and convince them to go for a $1,500 purchase or a $2,000 purchase, giving them that amount broken out into a monthly payment, it's a much stronger message to say, it's $170 per month versus $133 per month, or, $500 more, all do it once kind of thing. So, definitely use that. Those numbers may or may not be accurate based on the total amount being financed, but use the calculator itself that exists within the tool to be able to understand what those differences are as you're speaking to that customer. And let's talk a little bit about when to introduce Uplift to your customer. We actually think that it's one of those things that if you introduce us every single call, every single time, it just becomes a part of your repertoire. And it's so much easier to have that conversation. But, the best time to actually talk about Uplift is going to be before you even begin that shopping process. Letting your customer know that, you have access to financing and being able to split the entire purchase into monthly payments is just such a strong message that, they're going to go ahead and plan that bigger trip, that more aspirational trip that they weren't even thinking about before they even started that shopping phase. Obviously, if you're going to be price quoting, it's always a good time to mention Uplift as well, whether it's taking advantage of a sale or if, full payment is due now. As far as utilizing Uplift, I do want to make sure that we cover this as well. Multiple guests can, pay for one room if they have one hotel room. You have 3 people that all want to split one room, but, one person's got enough money, the other 2 need to do financing, that's fine. You're given a box that just says enter the total amount to be financed. And that individual person needs to go through the flow. So, if that person is able to be approved for that share of that amount of the hotel room, they can split that room. Additionally, if grandma wants to pay for everyone's room and there's 3, 4, 5 rooms, it's definitely not a problem. The entire amount can be financed just through one Uplift transaction. Now, you might have multiple purchases to make with with your personal card at the end or corporate card. But that can still just be one Uplift amount. And again, you're only going to get one Uplift UATP card to reimburse yourself the entire amount with at the end. And that total amount can include insurance, prepaid gratuities, airfare. If they want to add on some exotic excursion or safari trip, something like that, all of it can be included in that total price. As far as getting started and support, we do have a learning portal available for you guys. Every single person here does actually need to have an account. There is actually a specialized UATP Uplift training guide that is located on the, it's ARC Uplift training guide that's located on the MyArc page that I encourage everyone to go and take a look at and make sure that you fully understand that. Outside of that, we do have our standard training that everyone does need to go through at learning-uplift.com/advisor. There is a course that you will need to complete there. It's about 30 minutes. There's 3 videos. There's 15 questions. After you complete that course and that certification, within 72 hours, you're going to be emailed your login credentials. It is going to ask you to select your partner from a drop-down of lists. Make sure that you do select ARC or ArcPay from that list. Also in our learning portal, we do have tons of FAQs, but I will refer you to go back to that My ARC page to look at the FAQs that are very specific to the integration that we have with you guys there. There's also training materials, marketing assets, and more located on our learning portal. As far as accessing your account, within 72 hours, you'll receive an email with login details. If you don't receive your login details, reach out to us. It likely went into a spam folder. We might be missing some pieces of information. That could be, we do require a first name, a last name, and the last 4 of your social as you are registering. So, we could require some additional information, but, it shouldn't take any more than 72 hours to get your account. Your username is going to be your email address, and your password will be randomly generated. We do have marketing resources available. I do just want to lean on our marketing resources website at learning-uplift.com/marketing resources. It is also available through the learning portal link, learning-uplift.com/advisor. You'll find a link directly into those marketing resources. But we have seasonal assets, printable flyers, email signatures, social media banners. We cannot allow you guys to do any separate marketing without our approval. So if you do have any specialized marketing that you are going to do, please do email into us at agentaccounts@uplift.com, and we can work with you to get any additional assets that you need created. We do have 7-day-a-week customer support. We do have specific phone number for agents. If you do have any problems, please don't share that with your customers. It's a dedicated line for you guys. For your customers and our borrowers, we do have a specialized phone number for them as well. Again, that does exist for you as agents as form of email. We have agentaccounts@uplift.com, and any borrower should go through support@uplift.com. That's really the presentation that I do have for you today. We can go ahead and answer some additional questions as they do come in.
We have a few more questions. I can run through some of them, and the rest I'll throw out to Stephen and Alex. One which came in was, the question is, what would be the difference between the customer using their credit card or Uplift? And really, it's the ability to pay for travel over time. So just breaking up the heavy upfront cost of travel and allowing your customer to pay on a monthly basis through Uplift. For many, they'll see that as a better option than on their credit card. So we really let the customer decide which is best for their lifestyle. Let's see, what else did we have in here? So we have someone here, Betty, who's very interested in using this service. How can she start offering, which is great. We'll make sure that you have access to the link to register post-webinar. So you'll receive everything you need if you're on this webinar today to be able to proceed using Uplift. We have another one here, perhaps more to Alex. Our agents don't have access to ARC. Will they be able to use Uplift without ARC? Well, I think key messaging here is, can we give them access to ARC?
Yeah, and every agent does need to have access through a GDS or through MyARC to be able to process that UATP card.
Yeah. For these transactions, you would need to be an ARC accredited agency with a weekly ARC report and ARC Pay access, where you'd be processing the UATP card.
Ready. Well, if there are no other questions, I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up for today. If you do have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to us. You can email us. I do want to encourage everyone to go and register by visiting learning-uplift.com/advisor. That's where you're going to go to get access to the actual tool itself. Additionally, there is information on that MyARC page. So please be sure to visit there. there is also a link to the learning portal to go ahead and get started on that MyArc page. To close out today, I do just have one final poll question for everyone. And let's go ahead and launch that. And, you know, after today's demonstration, how likely are you to use Uplift for your client? Looks like the answers are rolling in.
Stephen, we got one more question. Betty's asking if you could repeat that link again.
Yeah, that's going to be learning-uplift.com/advisor. And it looks like everyone is in. Go ahead and share those results. You know, a very good spread across the board between, you know, very likely, somewhat confident, and, you know, some additional research as well. You know, if it doesn't fit into the strategy as well, it doesn't fit in. But, you know, I'm very happy, you know, coming into this, it seemed like not a lot of people knew a lot about Uplift, but I hope that you will consider us for the future. And again, if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. That agentaccounts@uplift.com email address is monitored 24/7. And, you know, we're definitely available to you. So thank you so much for having us today. We really appreciate it. And hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season.
Yes, thank you all for attending today. We really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.